Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. Time for a cup of coffee. And let's talk about some cigarette lighters. If you are in the chat, say hello. Let me know that you can hear me. Had a microphone problem the last time. Have some lighters set out there that I'm planning on listing later today. Also have some lighters out there another one that I'm planning on listing in our Penny Start charity auction for HDSA, along with a pile of others that Gavin sent in that big box of Tobacco that I received a few weeks ago. Those are probably all out of fuel now. These are all Park Industries lighters. I guess that wasn't quite out of fuel. Park Industries lighters with painted graphics. That one is for a international shipping company, I think. Oil field company in Louisiana. Golf. And the two-sided Armstrong Mold Inc. out of Indiana. The really cool strongman arm there for the graphic. Good morning, Thawan. Good to see you, my friend. You too, Natha. Good to see you as well. Good to see you fellas here. I haven't been able to do the stream the last couple of weeks. I was sick a couple of weeks ago. And I can't remember what the problem was last week now. Hope you guys are doing okay. Hope that everybody has a good Thanksgiving planned. I don't know if Thwan celebrates Thanksgiving or not. I'm sure that NAFTA is going to celebrate Thanksgiving up there in Tulsa. Made the video for this lighter the other day. I think I already published that video. I guess both those, I thought they would have run out of fuel by now. That's been last Thursday or Friday. Some enchiladas for Thanksgiving. Yeah, You know, it's same with Christmas time, any of the holidays. I think it's really most important is the food. It's not really a matter of, well, I shouldn't say what's most important is the food. What's most important is the people that you're sharing it with, and that you are sharing that food or that meal. But whether or not it's actually a turkey, that's immaterial to me. I'm not a huge fan of the turkey myself, though I think I will be cooking one this year. What's up, Gnarly? I was going to check into that question for you and I forgot. We'll have to hold that over till next week now. I hadn't been in any of the other live streams recently. I saw that J-Row Lights did one the other day, but I wasn't able to participate. I don't remember seeing ZF77 recently. I take that back, there was one a couple of weeks ago when the news came out about Comrade T-Man, which I was very sorry about, very sorry to hear that. But I wasn't able to catch the live stream. I think he gave away a Zippo in T-Man's honor. Don't know if any of you guys caught that or not. It's gotten really cold around here for the last couple of weeks, but now warming up a little bit for this Thanksgiving week. We got highs most of the week in the 60s, high 50s, low 60s, and lows in the high 30s and 40s, so not too bad. That's a long trip down there to Houston, Gnarly. I haven't made that drive too many times. I've been to Galveston a few times and went through Houston. I guess that's probably the only time I've been that far, is the couple of times that I've been to Galveston. And nothing particularly exciting about that drive either. Looks like most of the rest of the interstate in Texas and the southern part of Oklahoma anyway, as far as I can remember. Driving through towns and suburbs and what's up, Eastwa? Glad you've joined us. I've caught several of your videos over on TikTok lately. Yeah, I have been through Denver from Oklahoma City, but I was on my way to Washington State. I did take a few trips that terminated in Colorado, but that was not Denver. So yeah, Colorado period from Oklahoma is not a short trip. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah, I enjoyed the videos very much. I'm kind of hampered sometimes whether I can listen with the sound on. or be rude with other people in the room and put my earphones in. But yeah, I've caught it several times. I've watched several of them at a time. I don't really understand TikTok. um, I'm not exactly certain about its purpose, but what I do know is when I go over there, I'm following you. So when I click on that following tab, then your videos come up, and so I see. I've been seeing all of them, I think, that you publish. I can't imagine the nightmares in editing some of that. It's one of the reasons that I've gone to back off the screen myself. It's so much harder to edit videos when you're speaking on the screen, because then everything has to line up perfectly. And the same thing with some of the tosses and music you line up with some of those videos that you do. That it seems like that would be very detailed, and it's definitely an art to it. Collector, you talking about TikTok being spyware? Yeah, I've wondered about that myself, and that's one reason why I haven't. It keeps asking me to find my friends, and I haven't let it do that. I can't remember what I signed up with, whether it was my phone number or my email. But yeah, it may be some kind of. Well, I'm sure we're being spied on every way around it. Where it's just a matter of whether it's legal or not. Yeah, that's the simpler. I don't know that what you're doing over there on TikTok is a whole other thing than what I'm doing, which is basically just giving people a behind the scenes look at me repairing lighters. And I don't have to be fancy about that. And sometimes I've gotten a little bit more technical than others with the green screen and split picture or picture in picture. I think I even made one video where I had 3 shots of me doing the same thing at the same time, just like I said, different angles. But I've kind of settled in lately to the more simple lighter on the screen and my voice, and it's a whole lot easier to edit those. Gnarly, I don't have any of those. I have had some. A brass one, that kind of pewter looking antique finish. But those have been that copper one that I had, or not copper, brass, solid brass. That was well over a year ago. It was the same time that I bought that Marlboro bucking Bronco from the flea market or antique mall over here off of 10th and May. Are you looking to buy one? Or are you just well, Eastwall, that was your first video that I remember seeing, was a repair video or reassembling the Thorens. I can't remember whether it was a single claw or double claw. And that was a little bit longer video. Of course, that was on YouTube. I don't know. I don't think I've seen any. Are you publishing to YouTube at all anymore? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the repair videos, or basically showing people how to dig the flint out of a particular lighter or replace the wick in a particular lighter. Those may not be like broadly popular, you wouldn't think, but all of those repair videos that I publish get more views than any of the just show and tell lighter videos that I do. But like I said, I'm just showing and telling. You're showing and telling and providing entertainment at the same time with the music and cutting from one scene to the next and all that. So bravo, I enjoy it very much. Yeah, those Tuxedo Joe, I don't know, I was looking at one of those a while ago. I do with that other iPad. See if I can find this. But I was looking at one of those, it was the Camel Hard Pack or something like that. They sort of look kind of like the 540. Like the 540 color process lighters that you see now, they sort of look, they're painted in a way that looks like a wrap, like that. I guess I didn't save that. So let me see if I can search it. Okay, there it is. So I know what you're saying about those Tuxedo Joe being popular. But I'd always kind of been under the impression that that was mostly the ones with engraved designs or graphics, maybe. But also the ones that had the like a medallion on them that might be, some of them were Joe Camel, some of them were just a camel, the camel. But I didn't realize that these painted lighters were, or is that a paint or a chip? It may be a chip. And I've never had one of these in my hand. But yeah, I guess they are pretty popular. I thought that these went for considerably lower, and I don't know. We'll see where this one ends at, but right here with still 30 minutes left to go, somebody's willing to pay $43 for that one. But that is a nice set too, not just the lighter in the box with the Zip-A-Flint, but the fuel can as well. It says 1993. It doesn't show the base stamp or anything like that. But I like all that. I think all that Camel stuff is pretty nostalgic. I enjoy it. It's one of the brands that I smoked. Of all the stuff that Gavin sent me a few weeks ago, this big porcelain Camel ashtray from 1996 was one of the cooler items to me personally in that whole lot. You saying the Mysteries of the Forest are like that? That Camel, is that a wrap like that or painted? Are you, collector, are you talking about the, are you talking about the one I just had on there? saying they make different designs. With that style of embellishment or whatever you'd call it, paint, or like I said, it kind of looks like a chip from that view. That may just be the way that it forms around those corners. I would think those Kennecott Zippos, the copper Zippos, would be, in the long haul, some of the more collectible, simply because of, obviously the copper is collectible. The copper that were made in, was it 2003? The solid copper, those have probably taken a little bit of a hit since Zippo just released all the copper that they've made recently, which there's a ton of them, but people were buying them. I don't know. But I think that for a desirable base metal like that, for those to have come about the way they did, but from that particular company commissioning them, I would think that their value would be pretty solid. Oh, so you're saying it's kind of like they have transferred an image onto the lighter? Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I can see now where what I'm thinking might look like a chip might just be the way that finish rounds that corner. Gnarly, you're bringing up base metals I've never heard of before. Are you saying that white brass and nickel silver are the same? I've never heard that term white brass before. I've been using this Safex ashtray. That's a really functional, nice ashtray. All of a sudden, it's my favorite for sure. Simply because it's got such wide rests out here. Plenty of room for you to set your cigarette or whatever you're smoking on here, and it's not just going to fall in or fall back. Are you talking about what people call nickel silver, Gnarly? Which that is a common misunderstanding to some, because it's called nickel silver, that it contains silver. And to my understanding, it doesn't contain any silver at all. Yeah, and there were, are you talking, did you say 1946? Was that the tall cases that were nickel silver? And then after that, was it during when they were making the steel cased, the cases out of steel that the The inserts were made out of nickel silver. Yeah, I know there's places you can go and figure that all out. If you got a lighter in your hand, at least find out where that insert, if that was original to that particular case. But I've never gone and memorized all that. No, there's a tall case there right after World War II also. I'm not talking about that original square 32, 33 or whatever. There's a case, I think it was in 46. What's you guys' favorite Zippo website? Where do you go when you need to know something about Zippos? For me, it's always been The Passionate Wick. But I don't remember if that one has information about the tall cases or not. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, this iPad's gonna screw up on me. It always wants to go to sleep. It says the early 46 case was taller than the ones manufactured later that year by a 1/32 of an inch. The bottom portion of the case measured an inch and 3/8, whereas the latter 1946-47 case measured, whatever. There was a change to the hinge during this time. The earlier 46 model had a 3-barrel where the center barrel was longer compared to the ones manufactured later in 46. So then they went back to that. So anyway, you can see there where in 46, some of those cases were taller. That's from the passionatewick.com. Excellent source for Zippo information. Yeah, I wonder about that shape too. There are some differences, obviously, in the shape over time. Okay, thought my camera was screwed up there for a second. I didn't fuel these others. Sometimes I take the picture of the lighter lit from a screenshot in the video, and that's what I did for the listings. I'm going to be listing all of these later today. But for these three that I made those videos, well, probably most of them over a year ago. This one here, I really wish I could collect every lighter and keep every lighter that comes through my hands. This is a really cool graphic on this lighter. Yeah, gnarly, and I see what you're saying, why somebody would call it white brass. It does have a different tone. I think most Zippo collectors or people that handle very many of them, you come to notice those nickel silver inserts. Like I said, it's just, I'm not a metals expert, but they're different than what you open up and pull out today, obviously, or even from some others that might have more similar markings on them, just because the metal looks different. Okay, so the nickel silver cases are not plated. Is that what you're telling me? But then the other cases that were made that year was it the same metal that was chrome plated? The same nickel silver? Or what was the base metal on the other cases? Okay, well this might clear it up. Going back and reading back here on the Passionate Wick, says the 1946 to 48 lighters and inserts were made from material called nickel silver, but not chrome plated on the first models. 46 to 48 models still use 3 barrel, but zippo changed to 5, some point 9 to 49. Lighters made from 48 through 51 used brass to manufacture the cases. In early 51, the cases were then made from steel. So I'm not sure if that clears anything up or not. But again, plenty of information there on the passionatewick.com. You guys should make sure and get over there and check that out. You say Korean War. Yeah. Right. In the Korean War and World War II, the black crackles were steel. Painted steel. And then they plated the ones in the Korean War, which I guess the inferior metal is why you see so many of them losing their plating and rusting. Or corroding. I don't know what the technical term is, or maybe I should say proper term. Have a good day, Natha. Glad you joined us, my friend. At the same garage sale, Gnarly says he found 3 black crackles for 50 cents each one time at a garage sale. You're saying you found them all at the same garage sale? You paid $1.50 for 3 Black Crackles. That's pretty good. That's hard to beat that. I've owned 3, and I've gotten good deals on all of them, but not quite that good. Yeah, that's a good point, collector. That a lot of people think that because it's rusted that it's not as valuable. There's some people that specifically collect those steel cased Zippos. Trying to remember how much I paid for the 3 Black Crackles that I owned. The first 2 were bought in lots with other stuff, not particularly Tobackiana or even lighter related, just boxes of, what's typically called vintage junk lot or junk drawer lot, that kind of thing. And then the third one was in a group of other lighters, which it was a dead giveaway because it was laying on its side. You won't have that problem with a Park or a Berkeley or the other Black Crackles that you might mistake one for in a group of other lighters. They don't have that rounded bottom. And I probably paid more for that one, even though I didn't even pay $100 for the lot, and it had several. I'll have to go find that picture. Yeah, I know what you're saying, collector. There's definitely, on eBay too. I don't know if it always tells you this, but sometimes you'll be looking and listening. It'll tell you how many other people are looking at that. I was looking at one the other day, and it was just one that I just had casual interest in. It wasn't a Black Crackle or anything. It was just a big group of lighters. But there were 34 other people watching that. So yeah, there's definitely competition. However you buy, whether you're buying single lighters or whether you're trying to get a bargain, buying in groups or whatever. Are you just a Zippo guy collector, or do you collect others as well? I know some people feel like it's a loyalty or a faithfulness thing. For me, it's just a matter of being interested in all of them, and if they can be useful, even if it's not a Zippo, it doesn't mean it's not a good lighter. Cool. Yeah, that's me too. Any old lighter, especially one I haven't seen before, I'm glad to make a video on any lighter I haven't seen. I'm glad to have to drill out the tube or replace the wick or any of that kind of stuff on one that I haven't done that on before. But especially the older the better, and the semi-automatic mechanisms, Those are really cool. But even just the flip top, like you said, Berkeley Park, the other World War II era, what other people call Zippo knockoffs. I don't turn my nose up at any of them. All very cool old relics that, as I've said many times in those show and tell videos, they're worthy of collection, worthy of display, and most people wouldn't even know the difference in, like these park lighters back there, or Zippo. So tell me what happened, Eastwall. You say your Nassau lighter got blocked by customs. Do you reside in France? Wow. Yeah. Um, Man, I know you can run into some problems. I don't know how, if I guess France probably has their own postal system, but I hear the Royal Mail in the UK and other places in Europe, people complain all the time that any kind of lighter found is contraband and destroyed. I've mailed stuff to my friend Donald Hind in Denmark. I can't remember now where he's at, somewhere in Europe. One of those countries that he speaks Danish. But I didn't have any problem mailing to him. He didn't have any problem mailing to me. Of course, there wasn't fluid in the lighter, like you said, that your seller did. There's I worked for the U.S. Postal Service for 25 years, and I saw all kinds of stuff get mailed, stuff that shouldn't have been. And if it's got fluid in it and it can spark, then it's not supposed to. But I've seen companies that got around it, mailing. You and I can't mail lighter fluid, but there are companies that mail it all the time, whether or not they have the proper permit to do it. Um, that can be somewhat dubious as well. But, it is an issue, but not as big an issue as some of these countries' postal systems want to make it. Yeah, Evans are good lighters, collector. You say time to take a trip. Are you not in the U.S., collector? Where are you located? Wow, that is really cool, gnarly. I don't know. I can't remember if you were on a couple weeks ago. I think I showed that one that was on eBay that was early 40s Dodger Zippo, which kind of got my attention because Oklahoma City is now the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers. Maybe that's what I need to do, Eastwall, is take a road trip. Uh, you know, Flea markets, antique malls, that kind of stuff around here. They're okay, and I've found stuff, but I've never found anything just knock your socks off. Just around here, local. The vast majority of what I bought over the last, well, 5 years, been a little over 5 years now, I guess. The vast majority of it has been bought online. Really, most of it on eBay. It's amazing what you can buy on what you can find on eBay. Unidentified. people buy stuff on eBay every day. I've seen it happen with other lots that I pass on, and then suddenly it's another seller listing those same lighters individually. Happens all the time. Yeah, and collector, some are better than others, you know. But yeah, there's a few around here that I duck into because I know that um, they do change out. There's a couple of lighter booths that I don't know the person. I've never met the person that owns that particular cutout in that vendor mall. But the lighters change here and there. The prices. Sometimes you'll walk in there and there'll be 50% off everything in the case. But then there are plenty of others where it's, you know, it's just like a needle in a haystack when you do find one, because there's most places you're not going to walk into and find big lighter displays. You might find a lighter sitting in an ashtray in the corner of a booth. And you might even find a few lighters sitting somewhere together, but you can cover a lot more ground in a lot shorter period of time by sitting there browsing online listings, for sure. That's always been my philosophy about it. But I'm with you, Eastwall. It would be nice, it would be cool and even romantic to set out and during the time of year that those kind of flea markets and stuff are going strong, when the weather's good, and make your way across, I don't know, down Route 66 or some other path of the country where you're sure to have plenty of shops that you can stop into. I never had a DuPont, Gnarly. I'm with you. They seem really cool. I had a Colibri pipe lighter, butane pipe lighter. That was one of the cooler lighters I've ever used. You know, it shot the butane out sideways, but it was kind of a soft flame. Really good pipe lighter. But it went out on me and I tore it up trying to see if I could fix it. I've still got the part somewhere around here. But it was like a DuPont. It looked like it was a copy of a DuPont. But DuPont made petrol lighters too. Seems like I've seen maybe they made them out of aluminum during World War II. Yeah, I know I've seen a couple of your butane DuPont videos. Oh, they just had kind of like that little disc wheel up top. I know I've seen one, but I've never really studied them. I never had one. I just read about that somewhere, about the aluminum. The Drago. Okay, that's a petrol lighter, isn't it? I remember seeing those now. I didn't. I think maybe it was one of your videos where I saw that. Okay, that made me realize that it was a DuPont. But I don't even think I knew that the Drago was a DuPont. Somebody used to post a lot of pictures of those in the OTLS Facebook group or one of those other Facebook lighter groups. Seems like a lot of those Dragos that I've seen have emblems on them. Okay, that makes sense. Eastwa, you said you had ordered a Cygnus lighter. Did you get your Cygnus lighter in yet? Are you planning on making a video on that one? Ah, okay. So you include a patent in every video? Is that what you're saying? You won't make the video until you can find the patent? Well, I'll say this, Eastwa. It's always kind of been my um, I doubt whether those numbers really even applied to anything. I think that they may have just made some of those numbers up, if not all of them. I don't know that those um, factories, which I think basically came out of the occupation, the reorganization under the occupation, that apparently that general that was in charge just encouraged them to blatantly steal ideas and basically copy lighters that had been made elsewhere. So they weren't paying a royalty or off the original patent or anything like that. And now the Cygnus, obviously, that's a little bit. I mean, I think that's an original design, at least as far as the thumb roller goes. There's only a few lighters that I can think of that even have similar thumb rollers. What's up, Azrael? But the and that would be the Cupid and the Viscount. But the Cygnus, and you've seen my collection of Cygnus, so you know that sometimes, like, I've got one that's marked Prince, and trying to remember the other brands, but so you'll see some other brands, but basically that Cygnus lighter, I don't think it was that thumb roller flint tension mechanism was stolen from anywhere else. So maybe there is something to that 364149 patent number. A Cartier petrol lighter with the same flint system. I know that I've seen some of the table models marked Benlow Goldman. Trying to remember what the other brands that I think I have. Cygnus, they look like Cygnus lighters, that same flint tension mechanism. I've got 3 or 4 of them, the pocket versions that have a different brand. Like I said, I know one of them was Prince. Azrael, you were right in the conversation we were having over on the Discord the other day. I told you 6806 for that sunflower Chinese-made petrol lighter, but you were right. I think it's 6506. I think I was confusing that with the 6800 IMCO. Gnarly, I would love to have a Colibri kickstart. Those are some of the coolest lighters. Just I don't know, just the ingenuity, the creativity in the mechanism. I would like to own one. I would like to be able to take one apart and see how it works. Well, I don't have any of them anymore, Azrael. I believe I've had 3 of them. I had 2 of them way back at the beginning, like in 2017 or 2018. One of them was like brand new, and the other one had a little bit of wear. And then I ran across another one a couple of years or so ago. So I think I've had 3 of them. But I also, well, I don't know. Let me look that up. I'm trying to remember whether I had any of them after I started archiving my listings. See if archived eBay listings. Rather than look through there, just so you guys know, because those aren't in, those are just in the order that I have posted that particular brand page. But you can search. Okay, there we go. So I did have one of them. $65.06 Sunflower 6506 semi-automatic. And they're really cool lighters. But yeah, that was the one that I had here just in the last couple years. The other two I sold before I began archiving everything in this manner. Well, let's see this. Let's try something else here. Azrael. Let's type in let's just try. How many sunflower lighter videos can have been posted to YouTube? We will go ahead and put the number in there. If I can figure out how to maneuver the keyboard here. Okay, so look, you see there our friend Daniel Nieves posted a sunflower lighter video in the last year, just as Serbian Spark and Magic Lighter 3 years ago. Fan Lighters, that's another one. I follow him as well. I sure would have thought that we can't change that by when they were. I can't go to the oldest anymore. Well, let me try this then. So I guess that those other two that I owned, I must have sold those before I even started making videos. Wow. So that's the only video I've ever actually made for the Sunflowers 6506. But those are good lighters, Azrael. Glad you joined us, Eastlaw. Thank you. Keep up the good work, and I'll keep watching. Miss Dillon. Oobla doobla Dillon. I'm glad that you have joined us. If you're still here. I'm gonna have to look up and see if I can find out which lighter Eastois was talking about that is Cartier with that similar thumb flint tension mechanism. Azrael, are you asking what my given name is? What my mother named me? Well, yeah, that's what I meant. My name's Joe. My mother named me Joseph. I was named after my grandfather, my dad's father, although his name was not Joseph. His name was Columbus Hudson. He didn't have a middle name, but everyone called him Joe. Joe was his nickname. So, therefore, my parents named me Joseph. I assume you're speaking of Jesus Christ, Gnarly, who it says in the book of the Revelation, at that time he will be our light. We won't have any need for the sun or the moon. Calibri Kickstart, Gnarly, or I'm sorry, Azrael, is the first time that I handed one to my old lady, she thought I'd pulled a trick on her. Because you let it doesn't, the mechanism doesn't light like you might think it does. You take it to its full extent and then let it go, and it strikes the flint on the way back. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if Eastois has, if I've seen a kickstart video from him or not. Now, one thing you do need to watch out for on these Calibri kickstarts, so the Calibri kickstart, let's see. And this is what I was going to say. It looks like most of these right here off the bat are reproductions. See, it says 1928 reissue. But this will give you an idea. Oh, and that's also, it looks like a gas lighter. So this is butane. But the mechanism is the same. This arm, you take all the way to this side and let it go. When you let it go, it strikes the flint on the way back. So I guess similar to a kickstart on a motorcycle, that kind of thing. Yeah, there you go. Motorbike. Well, Gnarly, I was thinking about that this morning because one of the titles that I gave this week's live stream was Thanksgiving edition, and I'm not a big on putting people on the spot around Thanksgiving table or anything like that, but I was thinking about what we're thankful for family, thankful for the camaraderie, thankful for this, thankful that we can all get together and talk about lighters. um, but absolutely, I am thankful for Jesus Christ, the Lord of my life. Yeah, I try to stay out of the politics. You know, there's so much of it the last few years. I'm not a fan of any of it. I've been a registered Republican since the time I could vote at 18, but back in 2018, I went and changed my affiliation to independent, and I'm not sorry that I did that. I don't care for either parties, to be honest with you. Azrael, I'm in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City. Currently, as we speak, Deep Deuce. But most of the videos that you see are recorded in a place over in Mesta Park. Amen, gnarly. Yes, Azrael, Oklahoma is nice. I have no complaints. A lot of people put Oklahoma down. I've got friends that grew up here who move away and then talk bad about it. But I don't have any complaints of, it doesn't afford a bad lifestyle. There's hunting and fishing galore. There's, even right here in Oklahoma City with the things, the improvements that they've made, and, say what you want about taxes, and I'm not a big fan of all that. But I do like Scissortail Park and the sidewalks that basically go all over town now, and it's a really nice place to live. And pretty much everywhere that I've lived in Oklahoma has been that way. I've lived in Ada, grew up in Midwest City and Del City, and been all over the state, playing sports, watching my kids play sports, hunting, fishing, and all that kind of stuff, vacations. So it's good. I'm not complaining. Yeah, I got you there, Gnarly. Um, if he can save a sinner like me, then yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's interesting in a lot of ways, especially, with the way that here I'm talking about. I don't want to get into politics, but like with the states' rights issues lately, with the way that the abortion laws have changed in some places, and then tightening in some and loosening up in others, and same way with marijuana laws. You've got over half, way over half of the laws of the states now legalizing it in some form or another. I think it's over half that have it legalized in recreation even. Um, but it's still illegal on a federal level. So it's interesting the way that all works with states' rights, and yet we're all in the same country together. But at least so far, at least since the Civil War, we've managed to figure out a way for it all to work. You know what's funny, Azrael? When I went to work for the U.S. Postal Service, well, I went to work there in 1992, but I worked out at a place near the airport, an annex out by the airport. When I first went to the main processing plant downtown, which is where Scissortail Park is now, the building isn't there anymore. None of that stuff is there anymore. But when I first went down there, that would have been, I believe, early 1993, maybe even, no, it wasn't even early. It was either spring or early summer of 1993. You couldn't smoke in the building anymore. Well, no, that's not true. You couldn't just smoke out on the floor. You could, they had smoking break rooms in the building, which that only lasted for maybe a year, so around 94 or so. And then they put up sheds outside and you had to smoke in a shed outside, which everybody that came into the building walked right by that shed. But I guess you weren't in the building. But yeah, it's odd the things that we used to do. You're gonna make me look that up now, Gnarly. But Azrael, it's odd for me to think that back in that day, at that time, we would go off a break and just walk over into a room, and man, as soon as you open that door, there's just smoke, and everybody, you know, all the smokers were just smoking there in that break room. It wasn't ventilated any different. I don't know where the smoke was going to, but that's a far cry from where we're at today, where the government basically tells individual businesses what they can and can't do, what they can and cannot allow their patrons to do. It's interesting you say that, Gnarly. I've been going through a plan. I started it. Well, let me go look here. Planned to read the Bible in a year, and I started it back on May 21st. I'm like 44 days ahead. So I've recently, within the last few months, read the passage you're talking about, but I'm going to go now and look it up. Just out of curiosity, why you say it bears a second reading. What 90s crisis are you talking about, Azrael? So the passage you were talking about, okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've read that. Um, and I've seen that quoted before too. And God said, see, I've given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be for food. Yeah, you know, I think it's just like everything else. Well, you know, I certainly had a problem with alcohol, and you know, it was addictive, it was destructive. Um, it was not anything like my relationship with the herb of the field. Azrael, what 90s are you talking about? The bombing, the Oklahoma City bombing? I'm wondering what 90s crisis. We got crisis around here all the time. Every time that the oil business dips, the price of oil drops, we got a crisis. When it doesn't rain, we got half the state in a drought, and that becomes a crisis. Well, like I said, we've certainly had some crisis around here. The the oil bust in the, I guess that was in the 80s. Yeah, you know, gnarly. The book of the Revelation says we're going to drink wine in heaven. So I think I would probably drink again at that point. At that point, when we have been glorified with Christ and will not have the possibility of sin anymore. Then obviously having a drink would be okay for me at that point. But in this life, I'll never have another. But I don't begrudge those who can and do. What's up, Big John? Yeah, that's one thing that my relationship with alcohol, gnarly, didn't I didn't have any moderation. And by God's grace, I did quit it. But if I hadn't, it would have killed me by now. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. It was a hard 17, 18 years. I don't know, I can't even begin to explain what got into me, what made it happen, or the shame that brought on. But I am thankful to Jesus Christ every day that that is not me anymore. Been glad to have Big John comment on a couple of videos lately. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure how much I can talk about that other stuff, at least in that regard. But I think you all know how I feel about it. Yeah, and that's one thing, you know, they've called Oklahoma, they say it's like the Wild West with some of these laws we passed recently. But those haven't made things harder on on the people who are doing things right. So I, for one, am all for it. Yeah, I appreciate that, Big John. I do. I'm the same way. If I find a lighter guy that I haven't noticed their videos before, then I subscribe. I made a video about it. You can go over there and look at the channels that I'm subscribed to. And yeah, if you know of a channel that I am not subscribed to, let me know. Yeah, I watch J Rowe, his videos. Zippo Lion's Den. He makes good videos. Some that, you know, kind of come and go. They're not there all the time. I don't know what happened to Daniel Nieves. I haven't heard from him in a long time. Still see a video from Magic Lighter every now and then. And of course, Zippo Fanatic 77 Outdoors. Zippo Daily Fix. Yeah, I kind of feel like YouTube is built. It's kind of like a perfect social media for folks that like to share or share a common interest. Like if you've got something that you want to share with other people, that you can make a video about it, YouTube is perfect for people to gather around that. Well, I sure hope not, Gnarly, but it was for me there for a while, and that's part of the shame that I'm talking about. But no, life should not be a drunken party. And I think it's pretty clear from what the Bible says that no drunkard will enter the kingdom of heaven. So, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that if that is your lifestyle, then that's probably not in the direction that you're headed. It is certainly not the fruit of the Spirit that the Bible indicates should be there in the life of the believer. Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with alcohol, man. In and of itself, any more than any other drug or substance or anything like that. But I will say this, the possibility for abuse with alcohol, a kid can literally get a hold of a bottle of alcohol and kill themselves in a night. And an adult can, drink themselves to death in a matter of years. Just from, what seems like life, just a common, having a drink after work or at the end of the day. I don't know. It's, for some people it'll kill them. And it would have killed me. You asking me what lighter I'm using, Gnarly? I'm typically using a Jet Light. But I can't really talk about what I'm using it for. At least not right here, right now. They're good lighters though if you need a butane lighter. It's definitely the lighter that I would recommend for the money. They're refillable, adjustable, sometimes, a little, testy, Might have a little bit of trouble getting it adjusted exactly the way you want it, but I think I've owned, I don't know, probably 10 of them, and I think all of them that I'm thinking of anyway were brand new. I pulled them out of the package, and one of them has kind of gone out on me. It'll accept fuel, it'll hold fuel, but it won't burn it. I haven't tried the soft flame insert yet, John. I need to, I want to. You know, I made videos for the arc insert and the single flame butane, but I have not. I need to get one of those soft flame, and that would be, that one is flint sparked, I believe. So that would be more of a solution to me. I'm not a big fan of the piezo stuff. I know that they're pretty reliable. They don't go out all that often, but just the plastic sound of it turns me off. You know, it feels like you're squishing through something that's about to break. Anyway, these jet lights, good lighters. What's 6x5, Gnarly? I may have lost track of what we were talking about. Big John, what do you think of the soft flame? Have you tried it? Yeah, I'd agree with that. Azrael, and yet Bic is flint based. So, yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Obviously, I think the piezo would last the lifetime of most Bics. Yeah, that was sort of the problem that I had with the butane single torch I had. It was so hard to adjust, it would never burn right. And it was pretty much like that from the time I got it. There was some issues, but right after I'd got it, I'd only used it a couple of times, didn't have it sorted out yet. I dropped it off the balcony. So I kind of felt like I needed to give it another chance, but so it was like you'd gotten build up coming off your file wheel. It wasn't letting a good shower of sparks. So when you say the original, you're talking about the single torch and the soft flame? Yeah, that's the thing though. Maybe flint is cheaper than the piezo. Maybe that's why they do that. Which that would make sense, but they put piezo in so many cheap lighters. Cheap plastic crap. Okay, got you. Regular Zippo insert. Yeah, I'm the same way. I carry these jet lights, and I don't know. I got about half a dozen of them in circulation right now, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I've always got a couple of them at least in my pocket. But then I have a Zippo in my pocket as well, with just the regular petrol insert. I got a couple of lighters that occasionally I'll carry. Is that a L&M? What is that painted cigarette brand lighter that I have over there that has a Zippo pipe insert? Sometimes when I'm needing a pipe lighter, I will have that one. But typically, this or the 540 Majestic Views or the 1941 replica in brushed chrome, and then a pocket full of jet lights. I'm not sure what the deal is on these jet lights. Like I said, the first one I bought, I think I paid, and it seemed like it was like $4 at Target or Walmart. But you don't see them on sale there anymore. And the ones that are available on eBay, Amazon, those kind of places, I think they're all like old stock. So you can still find a lot of them in the packages, but I'm not sure that these lighters are being produced anymore. I could be wrong. Maybe the price has just gone up that much. But all of them that you see on Amazon, eBay, and that, man, it seems like they're $10, $15 a piece now. No, I agree with that, Gnarly. I agree with that 100%. But, you know, one thing that is important to me is, you know, for those that do have a problem with it, to understand that there's help and there's a better way to live. But no, I'm not judging. I got plenty of people around me that still drink. I got you. The 6x5 was a typo. I got plenty of people around me that drink, and you know, some of them I wish wouldn't, but some of them don't have any problem at all. So, you know, I'm not trying to stand in judgment of anybody, but for those that need to know that there's help and that there's a better way, if it's something that is a draw on you, if it's destroying your life, then you know, then that's not being judgmental. That's just helping somebody who's in need. The first lighter on the left side, what flag is that? That's I think that is like a international shipping at Atlantic Traffic Express service. I think it's like maybe an import company or something, or freight, like ship freight. I got all these set out here. I talked about them when I first came on. These are all painted graphic Park Industries lighters. Oil-filled advertising from Louisiana. Double-sided. Strong arm graphic. Several colors. But those will be listed soon. dependableflame.com/current eBay listings. You've seen the jet lights at Walmart recently, collector? So, how much were they? Are you asking me about harmonicas, Gnarly? I don't have any harmonicas. I don't even really remember. I personally have a couple of harmonicas somewhere, but I don't remember running across any harmonicas in any of the big, junk lots or stuff like that I bought in the last couple of years. Okay, yeah, see, that's what I thought. But every time I look for them, I don't find them. But I know when I bought one, the one that went out on me, which I bought probably back in 2016 or 17, I bought it at a local store over in Midwest City. And yeah, maybe it was $4.99. I thought it was $3.99, but you can't find them anywhere online for less than like $10 a piece. Probably more like 15. I don't have any harmonicas. I do have some other, I don't know what you'd call junk, other sort of ancillary items still over in kind of the sorting room in Mesta Park. But some of that stuff, I don't know if I'll ever get rid of all of it. Yes, Big John, I am on the Discord. Matter of fact, the last couple of times that we've done this, I've gone over there and did the not the hashtag, the @everyone. Which somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody alerted me to that, and then Dead Stick Dave had said, yeah, that was the proper protocol, go ahead and do that, that was cool. So, and Azrael and I have also been conversing over there in the message section of the Discord. So Azrael's on the Discord as well. I'm not sure, it's kind of hard to keep track with who you see where sometimes. Some people you run into in the Facebook groups and on YouTube. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if there's anybody that I've run into on all three, the Facebook groups, YouTube, and the Discord. John, what, in your mind, what is the advantage? What do you use the Discord for? Yeah, we got some stuff like that too, Azrael, where they try to jam some other stuff in there other than just the lighter. And that's one thing that I just kind of like, they make variations on products, like say soda cans or beer cans, which make some of them may be a little bit more collectible. Okay, guys, I see your notification. I'm not going to be able to go over there while we're live, but I'll check out that whatever you just posted over there, John. And you say just to see cool lighters, yeah. So are you saying that you? It's kind of confusing to me because when I get on there, there's all these columns on the left, and so like there's one that is for links, and that's where I've been posting about the live stream, and I see other people doing the same thing for ZF77s or J-Row lights, or trying to remember who else has done live streams recently. But I also see Zippo Lions Den's videos published there, and then I obviously the message portion of it. But is there one of those links that is just people posting pictures, or is it sort of like a theme week, or? Yeah, I guess clippers are like that too, Azrael. There's probably just as many designs have been put on a clipper as have been put on a Zippo. Okay, cool, John. I'll take a look at it. I told that story in that video I made for that plastic DeJeep Marlboro lighter, and I'm not going to open up any more of that particular kind, but I got two others in there that are a different brand that I think I will go ahead and open, and they're piezo, where the DeJeep was a flint. But there was an article in one of the OTLS newsletters several years ago where, or it may have been more recent, like I said, I can't remember. Sometimes I just go back and read those old newsletters because there's a lot of interesting information and pictures and things like that. And I can't remember what date the newsletter was that I read this from. So this could have been from just in the last few years, or it could have been 30 years ago. But somebody was talking about a young man showing up at the OTLS convention one year with a bunch of plastic, like Bic Scripto type lighters, all proud of his collection, had his parents with him, and several people making negative comments. And I don't ever want, I'm not big on plastic, but it's more, I just don't think they should be making it. I think there's more durable and safer, more environmentally friendly ways to do things. But as far as collecting something that's already been made, no, I don't see anything wrong with that. And as far as why we collect what we collect, that's to each his own. I don't judge anybody for that. I made a video and wrote an article several months ago that seemed to rub a few people wrong, because I said that collectors should be looking at these certain lighters. I was just saying that I think these are good values and a good starting point. You know, lighters that are easy to repair and that kind of thing. I wasn't trying to be judgmental or, be a snob about any kind of lighter. But, you're always gonna, I don't guess you're never gonna make everybody happy. And maybe even you're always gonna piss somebody off. So, it is what it is, I guess. Well, it seems like you got it figured out a little bit better than me. If you're, well, we'll see what picture you sent me, and I guess we'll find out whether I can even get over there and retrieve it. But I think one way or another we'll be able to get it figured out. I'm not a complete tech idiot. I'm not afraid of doing most things, trying, and from my experience, you screw something up on a computer, you know, you probably turn it off and start over, and you're going to be okay. I don't know if I've ever screwed anything up really bad just from my ignorance. But sometimes my ignorance causes me pain. So what I'm trying to say is it hurts my head to try to figure some things out. A Seidel harmonica. I don't remember that. I don't remember ever seeing that brand. Hey, what's up, Fifth Angel? Well, now that you bring it up, Fifth Angel said, love that camel ashtray. I was talking to Gavin, or maybe it was he commented on the video yesterday, maybe. He's encouraged me to sell most of the stuff that he sent me, and so we're going to be doing these Zippo lighters. These are from 04 and 05. The first one from 1997. But we'll be doing those in the Penny Start auctions. But I may list some of these ashtrays maybe in the Penny Start auctions, or I may just list them in a buy it now. You know, figure out what these individual ashtrays go for. Now, I think I am keeping this one. This is a really nice ashtray. I really like that one a lot. But I may list some of these in buy it now listings where 100% of the proceeds go to HDSA. So if you are interested, you should fairly soon have an opportunity to buy that ashtray. And it is really cool. Really heavy. Looks like, I don't know if that's glazed pottery or porcelain or what you call that. Really nice, nostalgic brand and decoration. Oh yeah, were you a member of the group, Gnarly? You a member of OTLS? Yeah, that's the way I am with some of these, Gnarly or Big John. You know, I'm saying this. I've been using this. This has kind of been the go-to over here in Deep Deuce for the last couple weeks because it's such a functional ashtray. I really like that one. That one's one, I think I paid $4.25 for this at a place out on 10th and MacArthur. But the RJR, yeah, I'm having a little bit of a hard time. I don't know if I can ash on this nice frosted glass. It'll never look the same again if I do, I'm sure of that. Oh no, what are you talking about, Azrael? Azrael says that ashtray looks like a crouched toilet bowl. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about this one or the blue one? or the Camel. This look, oh man, that doesn't look anything. I think it looks like a head of a guitar. You know, your tuners. Fifth Angel, yes, if I have any Dunhill lighters. I don't right at the moment. I've had several. You can go back and look through on the channel and see we've probably done videos on 2 or 3 mini roller lights, an auto roller light, a sterling silver roller light, a sterling silver sport lift arm lighter. One of the cooler lighters I've owned. Some other, at least one other Dunhill lift arm. Okay, well, I haven't, until I drove up to the Pacific Northwest back in 2018, I had never consciously been in a state that wasn't touching Oklahoma. I was born here. I did live in Alaska for, I think, about a year, but I was a baby. I don't remember it. So my entire conscious existence occurred in the state of Oklahoma, and occasional jaunts across the border. One, you know, maybe to the north, maybe to the east, maybe to the south. Had never really gone west until 2018, and then for multiple reasons. Traveled to Colorado a couple of times, and then up to Anacortes, Washington. So I've been all over the place, I feel like now, but most of my life has been right here, literally. Okay, you were a member of the OTLS from that group, or from that period of time. It's, you know, like I said, I do enjoy reading the newsletter. I enjoy participating on the Facebook group, and I've been a member of the group since, I don't know, about 2017, maybe 2018, I can't remember. And it's nice, you know, I keep up with I get a lot of interaction about lighters on the YouTube page, in the YouTube channel. And I even get a good deal of interaction in my email from the website, and also on the Facebook page. But just to be able to go and browse those Facebook lighter groups, and there are probably hundreds of them. I'm a member of dozens of them. And so, you know, the camaraderie and the connections and the lighters that you'll see that you might not otherwise see, and, you know, maybe even like the Deal or No Deal group over there, you know, a lot of people seem to prefer that to eBay when it comes to buying. I've never bought or sold anything over there, but there's a lot of nice, interesting lighters that get offered up for sale over there and sell cheaper than you'd see them go on eBay sometimes. So, you know, sometimes it's just you know, getting that money a little bit quicker and not going through eBay. Maybe they're willing to take a little bit less. Definitely something you guys should check out. It's, you know, the Discord, all these things are ways to stay in touch with people with common interests, but they all kind of have their own strengths as well. Well, you and I are pretty close to the same, John. I think I bought my first one in 2000. It was a 2016, but I think I bought it in 2017. I bought that first Zippo because I was binge watching Sons of Anarchy. Sort of the romanticizing of the Zippo in that show is what led me to buy my first one. And from buying that first one, then I discovered old lighters and man, it was seems like a lifetime ago now. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with where everyone is at, where everyone's located. Sean hadn't been with us in a few weeks. Sean is in the UK. We had somebody else who was in the UK as well. Naphtha is located in Tulsa. I think Gnarly lives right here in Oklahoma City like I do. No, Gnarly, I mentioned 10th and MacArthur a while ago because I just happened to be driving. I was going to that Walmart out there at Reno and MacArthur, or just south of there. And on my way, I spotted Vendor Mall, but I'm not familiar with that part of town. I worked out there at 4th and MacArthur for a little while when I was at the post office at the, I don't remember what the name of that station was, but I worked out there for just a short period of time. No, I'm not really from that part of town. I spent most of my life Midwest City, Del City, eastern Oklahoma County. That's right, Azrael. We've talked about that before. Southeast Asia. I used to have that Zippo, that Air America Zippo that said fly the friendly skies of Southeast Asia. There you go. John says he bought his first while drinking with a friend because that friend's dad had one. Yeah, usually you discover it and you something about it was intriguing, or like I said, I got no doubt in my mind it was romanticized by Jax Teller and other characters there on Sons of Anarchy. No doubt why I bought my first one. Yeah, I wonder about that too, John. Okay, so you're saying they're pricey. I think that it's kind of weird. I think that whatever country you're in, when you go to, like if you're going to buy it directly from Zippo, they've got like a different website, but maybe they don't have that for every country. So they'll have Canada, and they'll have probably Australia and the UK or all of Europe, whatever, but they may not reach into every corner, especially with the way the deal they have, the way that they allow them to embellish them in Japan and all that. Maybe they got a special deal with Japan and they lock them out of those other countries. I don't know. Or charge more in those other countries. Yeah, the disposable are cheap. I'm like you as well, John. I'd seen plenty of Zippos in my life. I remember my dad using what I thought was a Zippo. It's I've got that lighter now. At least I think it's that lighter. I have a couple of them that he used, but um, the Crestcraft lighter, which is you know, a full-size lighter like a Zippo, but a little bit thinner. But I had no idea how all those years of smoking using a Bic or whatever I just picked up at the gas station, I had no idea really about the function of a lighter and how simple it really was when it came to a petrol lighter. You know, it was just that squirt some fluid underneath it and there you were. By the time that I began smoking, the first time I ever smoked a cigarette, I was 18 years old, the summer of 1989. So by 1989, there was already all kinds of piezo plastic everywhere. You know, butane lighters was pretty much, that was all I ever used. Mostly soft flame butane lighters of some ilk or another. Yeah, you know, they used to be cheaper. Used to they would have Bics and other plastic varieties sitting there at like 7-Eleven or whatever gas station, and you know, you could easily find one for less than $1. But now it does seem like they're a little bit more expensive, $2-3 at minimum. Are you talking about the billions of people in China or just all over the world? I imagine that was an interesting time for you there, Gnarly, living in Beijing. We've never met. I don't know um, anything about your voice or your demeanor or appearance or anything like that, but most of us Okies are pretty much the same, and I can imagine that would be an adjustment. But I don't really know that much about Beijing. I assume it's like New York City, that you got people living on top of people. What do you mean by that, Gnarly? What do you mean to not give credit for our lives? Yeah, I can imagine. Strange things. My brother works out at Tinker Air Force Base, and somehow I think that's his job. He stocks vending machines with tools and maybe other items. I don't know, maybe lockout tags and things like that. I don't know what all exactly might be in those vending machines, but apparently that's how they dispense certain items in that environment. Ezra, are you saying a Bic is like 25 cents in Southeast Asia? The Southeast Asian version of a Bic The ones that you were saying earlier made there. Like we were talking about earlier, as far as collecting, I don't even know if I finished that story about that young man. But, you know, obviously, like a lighter like this, I could see where a Marlboro collector. I guess that's my problem with it. For one thing, a lighter that doesn't work just seems like you're not collecting a lighter. But, you know, this is a nostalgic item that would draw some interest sitting on the shelf, maybe. I'm gonna dig out those other. I think one of them was a Benson and Hedges, and I can't remember what the other was. We'll see. I might do. I got several videos in queue that I need to edit. A couple others that are already uploaded. What do you mean by that? Marlboro Rewards should be considered collectibles. You talking about the current Marlboro Rewards? Or are you just talking about any kind of Marlboro promotion like that? And I would agree that I think they are considered. I think, you know, it's collectible to somebody. Ted Ballard told me that there is no such thing as an insignificant lighter. And I've said this several times. I disagree with that. But I get what Ted's saying. It's a useful tool, each its own little accomplishment. So yeah, that ain't no. Where are you from, collector? Did we establish that earlier? Yeah, I've had a few of those too, Big John. If that is what you're talking about, Azrael. Those, you know, majestic views. That one was bought with rewards. The orange paisley, that was a Marlboro reward. And then, of course, that one majestic view they just sent because, well, they had a giveaway on the National Day of the Cowboy, something like that. Yeah, it was making a little noise here too. What book is that, Gnarly? I see the 7-9. I'll look it up. Tell me what book it is. Oh, I understand that. Gnarly, there's a book by a man named Randy Alcorn called Heaven. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I read it, I don't know, 6 months or so ago. Very helpful. Very, you know, the teaching that we have received about heaven in most evangelical churches has just been non-existent. That book is not only a good kind of, it lays out in a very easy to understand way what the Bible does say about heaven, but it's also one of the best books I've ever read on how a Christian is supposed to live. It's an awesome book. The Midwest. I hear some people refer to Oklahoma as the Midwest, but I don't really think we are. I think we're probably more like Southwest. When I think of the Midwest, I think of I don't know. I guess I think of Ohio and Michigan, places like that. But I'm not a geography expert either. I am not familiar with Hess. Is that what kind of company is that, John? Is that a department store? Okay. I see here one on Worth Point that is Hess's department store. I see another one that is Derrick Hess, but that's some kind of artwork or something. I had one last week that I was trying to figure out. It had something to do with maybe it was one of those Windmaster lighters. I don't have it in here anymore. So it must be one of the ones that I already listed. But it was an old. It seems like it was a diesel company now. Oh, it was that Fleetwing. That's what it was. That's the wrong one. This Penn Glen Oil Works. It has the Fleetwing. So it wasn't exactly a station. More petroleum product. And I'm not real sure how those two brands went together. Well, I probably ought to get busy, make a couple videos, edit some others. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Appreciate all of you that have come along. And I will plan on going ahead and doing it next Tuesday as well. Big John, Collector, Azrael, Naphtha was here earlier. My friend Thwan was here. Dylan DePie made a brief appearance. But I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And hit me up if you got something you want to talk about, you want me to do some research or whatever. If you got an idea, let me know. Until next time.